sitting on both sides of the table, gave Citrix CFO and EVP Arlen Shenkman a clearer view of business issues. When folk singer Joni Mitchell penned a song with the lyric, "I've looked at life from both sides now," she may have been envisioning Citrix CFO and Executive Vice President Arlen Shenkman. Perspective is important in any decision or action we take. I've sat on both sides of the table. As a lawyer, writing 10Ks and 10Qs for companies, I gained a deep understanding of materiality and other concepts, says Shenkman, who practiced law before moving across the table into corporate finance. My time as a lawyer helped me when I moved into corporate finance, because I knew what matters to companies, investors, customers, and employees, from disclosures to explaining a company's purpose and helping to formulate strategy. Based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and operating across the globe, Citrix develops digital workspace solutions that enable employees to work when, where, and how they want in a consistent, secure, and reliable manner. Shenkman joined Citrix from SAP in September 2019, where he most recently served as Executive Vice President and Global Head of Business Development and Ecosystems. A view with a history. Shenkman's ability to take the widescreen view, combining law and finance, was sparked by his grandfather, who owned an electrical equipment factory and advised Shenkman when he was still young to go for a law degree instead of an MBA to gain a good understanding of the complexities of a business. Shenkman valued the advice, but still went on to earn an MBA from the Fox School of Business at Temple University, as well as a law degree, a JD from the University of Miami School of Law. From there he spent about 9 years with law firms and as in-house corporate counsel. But his long-term goal was to earn an executive position that would utilize his legal and business knowledge. Initially, Shenkman found a challenging role at SAP where his responsibilities included driving business development by building new ecosystems, fostering strategic partnerships, incubating new business models, and overseeing investments and mergers and acquisitions. But the drive for hands-on involvement that spurred his rise at SAP eventually led Shenkman to move to Citrix, a smaller but growing company, where he would get even more embedded in the company's operations. Besides being responsible for Citrix's financial and capital management strategies, ESG, budgeting and planning, accounting, tax and treasury, investor relations, strategic alliances, and M&A, Shenkman also oversees RIKE, the collaborative work management solutions provider Citrix acquired in 2021. All of his knowledge and experience paid off earlier this year, when Citrix announced the $2.25 billion deal, its largest to date, to buy RIKE, with all of the negotiations conducted on a remote basis, thanks to pandemic-related restrictions. The transaction was funded by a combination of a term loan, a $750 million bond, and cash on hand, and it stood out for 2 reasons. The deal was Shenkman's first ever remote M&A, and the first M&A that Shenkman and his team had done on behalf of Citrix. "I've done M&As before, totaling some $40 billion for SAP," he notes. "But they were all done in person. Doing one entirely remotely was a big change." Taking a deeper dive. Shenkman believes it isn't unusual for a CFO to take an active part in developing a company's approach to remote or hybrid work arrangements. The job is about building bridges, as well as analyzing financial and other data, he says. At SAP, he adds, "I reported to the CEO, and I was involved in business development, HR, and organizational structure, all of which involved people as well as finances and strategy. Here at Citrix, my responsibilities and those of my team are similar. We drive the company's financial and capital management strategies, budgeting and planning, financial accounting, tax and treasury, investor relations, strategic alliances, and M&A. The market seems to like the company's moves." In January, soon after the RIKE announcement, Fitch Ratings affirmed Citrix systems at BBB, or investment grade, noting that Citrix is well-positioned, given strong profitability and FCF, free cash flow margins, with a large and diversified installed base and increasing complexity around hybrid cloud. Still, when Shenkman moved to Citrix, he had to adjust to a different set of financial resources. SAP has a market cap of nearly $180 billion, while Citrix's is about $15 billion. But there are many similarities, he says. Citrix is highly profitable. 2020 net income of about $500 million on $3.24 billion of revenue. And raising debt and equity is not a problem. And Citrix's smaller employee base, about 10,000, means we can move quickly when we see market or other opportunities. Shenkman says that the CFO function itself is evolving in a way that will deliver even more benefits to companies. We're seeing an evolution of the responsibilities for a CFO and his or her team, he observes. We are all at one table. Thanks to technological and other advances, the CFO office is increasingly embedded with IT and analytics. General ledger and other financial reports are tied in with pricing, budgets, HR, and all the other operational and strategic functions. In a strategic and embedded way, the finance team gains more granularity around revenue expense analysis and other metrics. Because our operational and financial teams work closely together, the quality of insights across the enterprise is enhanced. And when that happens, a company and its stakeholders all benefit. Selective disengagement can drive better results. The CFO's office functions as a nerve center of the corporate structure, but an individual CFO should guard against spreading himself or herself too thin, says Citrix CFO and EVP, Arlen Shenkman. My direct reports have a lot of independence, so I know that the issues they bring to me are top-level ones, he explains. Ultimately, I'm the one who takes responsibility for certain decisions, but having a close-knit team lets me focus on the top priority strategic issues. It's a kind of selective disengagement that only works when you've got clear collaboration and communication.